Hi everyone, it's Tom with the LEC preview of this week. We're heading into week 4 of the LEC Spring Split, which is the final week before the LEC will be taking a 1-week break. And this also means that we're wrapping up the first half of the LEC Spring Split. So let's take a look at the matches that are going to be played and do some predictions as usual. First up, we have Schalke 04 versus Astralis. And this is obviously a match that's going to be Schalke 04 favored because they're on a 4-0 win streak. And they have toppled in doing so G2 and Rogue. Now, I do think that Astralis has made improvements over the past weeks, but one thing that is very important for them is that heading into this week, obviously Nuke Duck has been subbed out because he has some personal reasons why he cannot play at the moment, and Maggie Felix, the old Fnatic Rising mid laner, who has been hyped up for a while for being a solo queue god, is being subbed in for most likely the remainder of the split from the looks of it. And this is obviously going to set Astralis back a bit because they have to rebuild the synergy with the mid laner that they now have new on the team. So I do think that Schalke 04 should easily win this if you look at the progress that the team has made over the past weeks compared to the progress Astralis has made, plus the hurdle, plus their overall skill level. It's hard to favor anybody but Schalke 04 in this match. Then we have Vitality versus XL as the second match, and Vitality is in a bit of a similar position as Astralis, although they did not sub out a player because of personal reasons, it's for competitive reasons. Comp has been subbed out for Crownshot. Crownshot obviously a free agent after the last offseason, and Comp, while I think that it's a weird choice to make because Comp was one of the better performing players on the team, I can see that if you have to pick up someone, there's not much talent that can fulfill the role they want Crownshot to fulfill on the team. So you don't have a support free agent who could do the same, or a mid laner, jungler, or top laner. And they want Crownshot to be a bit more of a shot caller, a bit more of a leader in the game with his veteranship. So Vitality will also have an adjusted roster heading into the weekend, and probably also for the remainder of the split against XL. And XL have looked pretty good. They had a 2-0 weekend. And obviously that's pretty good for a team that struggled a bit in the early phases to get online. Now, I do think that this should go to XL because I think Vitality will suffer from the same problem that Astralis had. First of all, rebuilding a team, a synergy with the bot laner now. But also, I think that on an overall level, the rest of Vitality is just mostly going to be holding each other back, especially the first phase. We'll see what the Crownshot effect will be in the coming weeks, but this match should go to XL. Then we have Misfits versus G2, and I do not think that this needs much discussing because Misfits has been playing incredibly poorly, and G2, even though they did lose against Fnatic last weekend, partially due to internet connectivity issues, they should be playing on fire right now. I think they will not spend a long time worrying about Misfits and easily win that. Then we have Mad Lions versus Rogue. This is a very exciting matchup because last summer split, obviously Mad Lions and Rogue were the two teams constantly battling out in the top. At the moment, Rogue is looking much better than Mad Lions is, and you have to say that Rogue as a team looks more coherent than Mad Lions. Mad Lions looks a bit more scrappy. Also individually, I think that Mad Lions is still not feeling it quite yet in the split. If you look at the substitutes the new players that both teams had, I think Armut and Elyoya have been pretty decent on Mad Lions, especially last weekend. They were performing very well. If you look at Rogue, though, I think Odoam is performing exceptionally, whereas Trimby has a lot of room for improvement, but I do think that Rogue is great at covering up any mistakes that any of their team members make, and Mad Lions has a bit more trouble doing this. So in the end, while I do think that this is going to be a close match, and I very much look forward to it, I do think that Rogue is the one who's going to win this. The final match of the first day is Fnatic versus SK Gaming, and Fnatic obviously did look very good against G2 last week. But overall, in the match before that, which they played against Astralis, they still looked incredibly poor and very scrappy, not on the same page. So against SK Gaming, this could be a real issue for the team. I have to say that SK Gaming has not really impressed the past weeks either. And I still would have to give it to Fnatic, I guess, if you just look at overall strength. But honestly, and I did not really expect to say this, if you would have asked me like at the start of the split, oh, in week 4, Fnatic plays SK Gaming, who's going to win this? But this is probably going to be a bit coin flippy, which team is more feeling it in the moment, feeling it more when they step on the rift and has been able to learn most from their mistakes. So I do think that Fnatic, if you look at their peak level and overall consistency, I suppose, has a slight advantage here. But SK Gaming could stand a chance, and that is not something that I would have expected heading into the split. Then on Saturday, we have Vitality versus SK Gaming as the first match. I think I'm going to stick with my Vitality prediction of that they need time to adjust if their addition of Crownshot itself, even though I do think he's a very good bot laner, obviously, and probably better than Comp. I'm just really skeptical about whether he's going to be able to elevate and make this team coherent. So against SK Gaming, I do think SK Gaming will win this. If you look at their team overall, I think they have a very solid bot lane as well. Maybe Jesu is sometimes a bit flippy, but he has Treat as a good backup, who has been performing very well. In the mid lane, you have Militia versus Blue. Both have not really impressed so far, but Tinks, I think, is a better jungler at the moment than Skeens. And while Shigenda is a pretty good top laner, I think Genex doesn't need to be outstanding in this match for them to clutch it out. So overall, I do think this will go SK Gaming's way. Then we have Misfits versus Astralis on Saturday as the second match. And you think maybe, oh, Misfits, they have Kobe, they have Vander. In the jungle, they have Razork, who've been playing well. And Viteo had this great opening weekend. Hirit has been playing pretty well if you leave out last weekend. Is he going to favor Misfits? No, I actually think that Astralis will win this. And that is because I think Astralis has been very creative with how they want to play. I think they're slowly feeling each other more. And while I do think that the sub of Maggie Felix is going to set them back a bit, I think that overall this team is slowly but surely getting into a flow where they are going to be able to pick up some wins against the weaker teams. And I think Misfits at the moment is completely in shambles. This team is just not finding a way to play. And if they have been able to get the team on track as Misfits, if they found a style they want to play, and if they nailed this in 1 week's time, then they are probably favored, but I highly doubt it because it hasn't happened so far yet. I think this is maybe something that heading into week 5 they could have done, after the 1 week break. But heading into the match against Astralis, I think Astralis is going to win this. I think Zanzara has been playing very well. I really like the adaptation of them, just flipping out the Scar and the Thresh last week. They are being creative, they're feeling it more at the moment, so I'm favoring Astralis. Then we have Schalke 04 versus Mad Lions, and this is a match I'm very much excited for. In the top lane, we obviously have Armut versus Broken Blade, who played against each other in the TCL. And actually, you know what? I'm going to play my clip that I posted on my Twitter here as well. Do you look forward to specifically facing against any of these players now that you're going to the LEC?
Yeah, it will be Broken Blade.
Now Broken Blade has to run.
His mechanics are pretty good.
Or will it be a re-engage? The authority! What a play from the new top laner!
When I was playing in TCL,
He missed, but it doesn't matter. They can still go for him.
the only one who got close to me
The Duke is the TP though. Armut with the taunt though. He's trying to live.
was Armut.
He's in a literal 1v5 and he gets a kill. He's gonna get another kill.
I was his rival.
Hancock jumps in, gets caught up by the Darkened Blade, gets jumped on it.
Whoa!
Broken Blade!
It's the only one who could really
Eyes on Armut.
give me a challenge.
Armut looking for the follow-up on the clock. The flash forward to finish. The shutdown.
It will be really nice to play against him right now.
He's a very close friend, right? On the Rift, he's my rival.
He might be better than me right now, but at future, who knows?
I will not let him win.
So yeah, needless to say, I'm pretty excited for this one to see it play out. Now overall, I think that Schalke 04 has looked stronger than Mad Lions has. And I think that on an individual level, Abadaga has been playing very well, better than Humanoid, if you look at the team as a whole. In the bot lane, I think Kaiser is still a better support than Limit at the moment, but I do think that Karsi is very flippy and maybe a bit too reckless, whereas Neon is maybe a bit more disciplined in his play. And I think that if you look at the junglers, I think Ayoya has been playing very well. I think Gillis has also been playing very well. It kind of put those two at equal footing at the moment in terms of their performance. And then you look at the top lane, it's Armut versus Broken Blade. It's hard for me to say who has been performing better overall, because I think both have had outstanding moments. I think Armut has had more of a carry role that he needed to take for Mad Lions in times where Mad Lions wasn't maybe performing well in the other lanes and he needed to step up. So it would be easy to say that he could be the better top laner at the moment, but it's actually very tough for me to say, because I think Broken Blade has been pretty consistent overall. Not the outstanding performance that I had hoped for so far, but solid. So overall, I do think Schalke 04 will win this match, though, if you look at how they have been playing the past few weeks and in the shape they're in at the moment. Then we have Fnatic versus XL Esports. XL has been playing pretty well. They played well last weekend, and I do think, though, that Fnatic is more favored here. I don't think that, even the same bit with Fnatic versus SK Gaming, which I gave to Fnatic in the end. I do think Fnatic should have the edge here, continuing their trend. Well, they're off the back of the game they played against G2 last weekend. They played coherently, and I think that gave them a good boost. Now, I do think that XL as a whole has been playing better than SK Gaming, so I would put it like more in XL's favor to win against Fnatic than I would SK Gaming, but I still think that Fnatic edged out, like same at like maybe 70-30. But it also gonna depend also on the draft as well. I do think that XL has been having pretty good drafts, but yeah, I mean, if you look at the individual level, Bwipo has been playing pretty well, like in the match against G2. I think that this team now realizes that these matches actually matter for them to reach the playoffs. And if they do not want to repeat their summer split performance last year, where they almost missed out on playoffs, that they really need to turn on the gas. So I do think Fnatic will win this. And then we finally have the match of the week, G2 versus Rogue, where you have the top two teams at the moment. Obviously, I guess Schalke 04 is also in the top as of recording this video, but overall, I would say that these are the top two teams in the league at the moment. And by not a great distance, but by quite some distance, I think you could easily say these are the top two teams. G2, obviously, in each of their roles, are probably the best players in the LEC at the moment, but Rogue as a team has been playing incredibly well. As usual, their macro is great. They know how to approach the games. I think the one thing that could hinder Rogue in this match is their draft, because they make it too difficult for themselves sometimes. Obviously, G2 is also known to do this. I do think that heading into this match, G2, provided they don't have internet issues again, which I don't think they will, because I think last weekend they played from the office in a last-minute decision instead of from their usual setup, and I don't think they will deviate from this ever again. So they should have stable internet, and G2 should probably win this when they prepare well, they play very well. You saw that even with lag and packet losses against Fnatic, they put up a pretty good fight overall. And I think against Rogue, they're going to go like all guns blazing, right? They're going to do their preparation better than any match they've had so far. I think they're going to be full focused. And even though I do think that this is going to be a very close match, and it's very exciting to see how Rogue will try to tackle the problem that is G2 this time around, I do think G2 in the end will win it. But it could be, it's not unreasonable to think that Rogue wins this when you see how Larsen has been playing. I think Larsen overall at the moment has been playing better than Caps. In the jungle, you have Inspired, who's been playing very well, and Jankos has also been playing very well. Obviously, they have slightly different roles within the team. And you have Reckless and Hansama, the two best performing bot laners at the moment in the league. Top lane, you have Wunder, probably the best top laner in the LEC. And maybe even on the Western Hemisphere, versus, I think Odo Amne, obviously he got the MVP, which was very funny, finally, but he's solid, right? He's good. I just don't think he's on the top level. Support, Mickey X is miles better than Trimby at the moment. So there's a balancing scale all around the map. It's all gonna come down to which team knows better how to execute their draft. And I do think that G2 is better at figuring that out at the moment than Rogue. So those are my predictions for the 4th week of the LEC Spring Split. Let me know in the comments below what your predictions are. If you have any different opinions or any insights on any team you think are worth sharing, definitely let me know. I'm interested to read the comments. If you like this video, don't forget to like. If you like my content in general, please hit the subscribe button. You've seen me post many interviews over the course of the split already, and many more will come in the future weeks. So stay tuned for more content as well, and have fun this weekend.